We are back on the zoo, and we have a very special guest with an important message. He is the Executive Director of the National Association of Latino Independent Producers, otherwise known as NALIP. Ben Lopez, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. All right.
And you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. All right, Ben, you got an important job.
Yes.
A lot of people here in the building and here part of LATV, we enjoy going to NALIP events. We enjoy meeting people from across the media, both Latinos and non-Latinos who also want to get to know us better.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the organization and why it's so important for the organization to be very active right now.
I think this is the most important time for Latinos in media. Not that it wasn't before, but now we're coming to a moment where we're trying to reflect not only the population of the U.S., the Latinos taking over, but at the same time, on behind the scenes, the creatives, the ones who are doing all the hiring, the ones that are taking all the pitches, I think it's really important for them to understand the dynamics of our people. Like, our stories are complex, our stories are multidimensional, and I think both in television, film, documentary, across all the verticals, I think it's important for Latinos to be equally represented, very in line with what the demographics show.
How underrepresented are we?
Grossly. I mean, we're talking about, I can actually count, maybe on one hand, the working Latina directors in the business right now in film.
Wow. Really?
In one hand. And so you have some directors, for example, the director of Real Women Have Curves, how many times do they have an opportunity to direct their second film?
Right.
Another grossly underrepresentation is like people want to break out of Sundance. Guess what? Maybe you make it. Well, what about your second film? And do you ever come back to Sundance with a second film? And it's really, really a bad problem because you're having this translate into a ceremony such as the Oscars where they're not even, nominated. Least
Oscars so white.
Yeah, exactly. So
and the Emmys too. There was no. I mean,
Emmys so white, I guess.
Yeah, Emmys so wide all the way across, and so I think it's a gross underrepresentation, but it's something that's. I think there's something darker going on too, which is I think that what people are looking at is that they think that Latinos are just one-dimensional. They either want them to be on the, for example, on the stereotypes such as the drug dealers, the maids. I mean, you have someone like Lupe Ontiveros who made, she rest in peace, she did over 300 roles.
As a maid.
Exactly. And how many times was she wasn't honored until we actually took the time to honor her. I think next year we're probably gonna work on trying to get her a star in Hollywood. Which is
she doesn't have a star in Hollywood?
She does not have a star in Hollywood.
Wow.
So that's another one. Like when you're growing up as a little girl or as a little boy, either you want to be what? The next Robert Rodriguez, the next Cuarón, or who is your idols out there? Now, luckily, we have a Zoe Saldana, Michelle Rodriguez, Gina Rodriguez of the world.
Amen.
But we need to multiply them.
Now, do you think that the productions being produced by Latinos, and we were having a discussion about this not too long ago, are good enough to compete with those films that are produced by Caucasians? Or is it that they have more money to really put their films out there and make them seem much better than what they are?
To be honest, it comes down to this, the difference between Latino and Latin American films. Most people think that when you go to a film festival, you're going to go see Latino films, US made. The majority of them are subsidized by governments in Latin America, and so those films, they have a very incredible, tradition of working on the art and craft of, art house filmmaking. Yeah. So they have a better chance of being nominated. I want you to right now try to think of a U.S.-based Latino filmmaker that has been nominated for those type of awards or those type of festivals.
This is crazy, but the question here would be, what is it that we can do to change things around? Is there anything that might be a possible solution to this problem? Because, I mean, as an actor, because I'm an actress myself, here, I mean, it's kind of alarming a little bit to think that we are underrepresented in such like a huge way. So.
Well, I heard you say "Unidos hace la fuerza," right?
Eso sí.
Which is really, really incredible. I think that's the key. I think it's trying, instead of trying to subdivide all these different efforts, I think it's really to come across it as a collective approach, right? So you have Puerto Ricanos, Argentinos, Colombianos, really working together to make things better here. And the best way to do this is to start collaborating. Like, what if I package a film that incorporates you into the lead role and so on and so on? But it starts really at the end of the day with story.
So
how do you know?
Working more like a team, you said. Because when we talked about underrepresentation the other day, we were talking about how in Latin America, cultures tend to be a little separated from each other. Like we kind of go like...
Yes, the crabs in the bucket.
Exactly, instead of helping each other to go up.
Yeah, we actually saw that a lot, especially in the beginning, because filmmakers felt like if that person is getting an award, maybe I'm falling behind. And so we had to change that.
Oh
It's like, no,
gosh.
all boats rise together. And we felt, what if we all support one another? And why don't we really talk about the best and sharing strategies? That's another thing. Every time that I invite folks like you, I'm like, hey, can you share a strategy with this up and coming emerging creator? Or so on and so on. Like, do you have a mentor? Who's mentoring you? And another part of it is the business.
I love this, because this is how things should be.
That's right. Sharing strategies.
Oh my God, I love it.
Do you think it's an older generation problem?
No, I think what it was, I mean, think about it. When's the last time they used the word Hispanic?
Right.
I still use it.
You know, so for example, a lot of people, you know, that are a little bit more progressive, they're using Latinx, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can already see that difference. It's like you have some early pioneers that you got to pay respects to. You know, they opened up the doorway for us to go through, but now the ones that are there, they need to fortify that, making sure that it doesn't close the door on us.
Well, don't see each other as competence. Sorry, as competition.
Exactly.
I mean.
Yeah, don't see as me as competition for the question.
I just had like this thought and it came out. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I meant.
Like for example, you're
instead of competition.
Like we have a program called Latino Lens, right? And this program is meant to find the money. What if we find the money, almost like executive producers, and we find folks that are already on the up and up, like coming up, and help them out with infusing funds into their projects, and so at least 3 of them can come out of the gate, and then we have the actual platform to showcase that work. So it's like the 360 approach. We identify them, they apply for a program, they have all their everything from a budget to a really great story, the whole crew and everything, and then by the time they make it all the way to becoming a finalist, we infuse that cash. So that's what I'm doing year round. I'm finding money so we can infuse it back into those projects. So that's Latino Lens.
Oh, I think that you, I mean, I've seen NALIP grow. You know, I'm just paying attention and attending some of the events. You guys have really grown into probably, you know, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful Latino advocacy group in media right now. And so your mission is very important. What do you think about what we're doing here at LATV and on the Zoom?
And
This is
women
part
in
of it.
media.
I think this is part of it. So I'm pretty sure that in this room we got firepower. And we're talking about the next generation, the next Oprahs, the next Zoe Saldana.
Amen to that.
That's what you are. I mean, I think to me, I see you not just an actor that's, you know, coming up, but I see you as the future, you know, a marquee, you know, that name on that marquee where people are actually packaging things around you.
Right,
And,
right,
and
right.
same thing
I
with
love
you. Why can you have this show now all over the world?